Ladies and gentlemen, and fight fans around the world, this is All Access MMA.
Joe Giannetti is back. This time he has a fight. Brant Moore, LFA 89 main event going down August the 28th. Joe, what is up?
Not much. What's going on with you?
Man, I'm happy to see you have a fight. I know it's been a minute since you stepped inside of the cage, and this is a big one. LFA is a huge promotion, and this is against a really good prospect. He's 7-1. He's a BJJ black belt, so over him might be just what you need to get that call that I know you want. Tell me, man, how has training been and everything during this time off?
It's been really good, man. I mean, I honestly feel like I'm in the best shape of my life. I don't have a giant cut ahead of me. I'm super light. I feel stronger than ever. I'm really excited.
What's the weight at right now?
This morning I was 169.
Okay, all right, so almost there. And what has it been like for you, during this camp? Because I know it's been a little bit different. The last time we talked, you were getting a lot of work in your garage that you kind of turned into a gym. What has it been like, and who have been some of the main training partners?
So I've been splitting it 50-50 ever since I went back to South Shore Sportfighting. I'll do my morning sessions at my garage, and it'll either be cardio or lifting. Bag work if I know that I can't make it to the gym for work or whatever. But that'll be my morning session, and then I'll rest up and do whatever I have to do around the house. And then at night, I'll head over to South Shore and I'll do my technique, more cardio, drilling, MMA, all the stuff like that. And, honestly, I'm just working with everybody at South Shore. Everybody that's willing to come in and work with me, I'm just getting as best work I can.
Has it been a little bit different? I mean, some people a little bit more hesitant to come in and work with everything that's going on.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's some guys that still haven't come back yet, and I don't blame any of them. I mean, the world's a crazy place right now. But the people that do come in, I mean, they've been giving me great work, and I feel awesome.
You said, and I'm paraphrasing a little bit, but you've made a lot of improvements over the last 7 months. Can you speak on that a little bit?
Mostly just physically, man. My weight's super low. My strength is through the roof. I'm in shape. My cardio's never been a problem, but it's even better than it was before. So I'm improving on things I didn't even have to improve on. My striking feels better. My grappling feels better. My wrestling feels better. A lot probably because of the strength and conditioning. But just stuff I wanted to improve, I did. And stuff I didn't need to, I still improved it.
Mm-hmm. And where's your head at right now with your confidence? Are you feeling as confident as ever heading into this fight?
Yeah, super confident. I mean, I'm honestly just excited. I mean, it's going to be fun. It's been 7 months since I've even fought, and that's my longest layoff ever.
Yeah. Well, this is a really exciting one. Obviously, LFA is such a huge promotion. I saw something the other day. Stephen Wonderboy Thompson gave you a shout out. How did that happen?
So I was watching the fights here with my friends, and I got a message on Instagram, and it was my buddy Raphael Adams, and he was like, "Hey, I got something for you," and I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And he sends me that video. I guess Stephen Thompson was doing like a fight companion, kind of like Rogan's. And I don't know how, but he somehow told Thompson about my fight. And so Thompson like gave me a quick little shout out because me and him had talked the other day. And I was like, yeah, he's like my favorite fighter. That's who I base my style around, yada, yada. So he sent me that. And I was like, oh, it was so embarrassing. I was blushing. I was like through the roof. My buddies were all making fun of me. I was like, I hate you all.
Well, have you ever thought about maybe trying to get some work in with Wonderboy? I mean, that would do some wonders for your game right there.
Oh, all the time. I mean, especially after that, now it's like, okay, maybe I can use that as like a line of connection. But I hope so. That would be amazing.
Yeah, that would be really cool. What's the jersey you got on right there?
It's the Toon Squad.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're bringing it way back. You're bringing it way back. I know you're a basketball guy. What are you thinking of this whole bubble setup right now?
It's insane, man. But I mean, hey, if they're sticking to it and they can do it, I'm willing to watch. Do what you got to do.
Yeah, for sure. Who do you see winning the chip this year?
I mean, I got to go with the Celtics, man. You know it.
You see Hayward just, he injured his ankle. He's out for, I guess, 4 weeks.
It literally just popped up on my phone. He's out for 4 weeks, like right before you called. I was like, no way.
Yeah, that's going to make things a little bit trickier, I think. But I'll tell you what, between Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, they really are starting to look like those superstars all of us Celtics fans hope they turn into. So I think they got a pretty good shot.
For sure. I mean, they stepped up when we originally got Howard, and he hurt his ankle. Was his ankle the first game of the season? I mean, they stepped up big. So I mean, they just got to do it again.
Yeah, well, I'm excited, and just to have some other live sports back outside of MMA. That's always a good thing. Now, I do got to get your take on everything that went down at UFC 252. Obviously, the biggest trilogy that we've ever seen: Daniel Cormier, Stipe Miocic. Didn't go your boy's way. Stipe retained the belt, but there's clearly a little bit of controversy. Both of them got their eyes poked, but DC's was really bad. That was gruesome. And I think you did talk to him after, so just give us an update how he's feeling and what do you think we can expect to see from the former double champ moving forward.
So I'm sure you saw it. He's got a torn cornea, and the eye poke was really bad. And to be honest, live watching the fight, I didn't see it. I saw the punch at the end of the round that kind of hurt him, and I was just like, obviously he's not lying, but I was like, I didn't see it. And when they showed it, I literally like cringed. Like that was bad. That was like a knuckle deep. I think he's done, man. I think that I give him a lot of praise for it because I've seen so many guys that are like, this will be my last fight if I win. This will be my last fight, da da da, and then that's just not. But he said to everybody, "This is my last fight. Win or lose, I'm out." And I think he's gonna stick to it. It didn't go his way. It was a good fight. But the other thing too is you got to respect him. He's not saying he lost because of the eye poke. He's just saying that's a big factor, but he's not blaming the loss on that.
Yeah, I mean, whether he comes back or he doesn't come back, everything he's already accomplished inside the octagon, or just in combat sports in general. I mean, he's that on that Mount Rushmore for sure. He's one of those guys that you can interchange him with whoever you want to. It's just whatever your opinion is. But man, he's done so much. He's such a great ambassador, and he has such a bright future with his commentary. He does so well there. Do you think? I mean, the competitor that he is, JoJo. Maybe a year from now, he's feeling good. His body's healthy. If the right fight comes along, I mean, I don't think it would surprise me, but obviously you know him better if he did decide to come back.
I don't think so, man. Like he said it himself, he only wants to fight for titles, and if they're not giving him a title shot, then he's probably not doing it. I mean, the only title I could see somehow working his way in, Jones comes back and he beats Stipe, either crushes him or a decision, and then maybe beats Ngannou, or even Ngannou gets skipped over again, and they offer DC the fight. Maybe, DC always wants to get that win over Jones. But if he said, no, I'm good with where I'm at, I wouldn't be surprised at all. I mean, he's got a lot of business things going on outside of fighting. He's still running the high school wrestling team over at Gilroy. So, I mean, he's still got a full plate.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Now, as far as Jones goes, and all the killers that are there at heavyweight now, you got Ngannou that's right there. Obviously, Stipe still holding the belt. How do you think that all shakes out? Like at the end of the day, who do you think stands tall above the rest of them and gets the wins here moving forward?
I think Stipe beats Ngannou again. It's been pretty crazy to me. I haven't really seen much improvement from Ngannou, but people keep saying it, so people start believing it. But if you watch his fights, it's the same as it was before he fought Stipe. It's the exact same thing. Maybe he just hasn't shown it yet, but like I said, I haven't seen it. I have no reason to believe that Stipe couldn't do what he did the first time. So I think he takes Ngannou out, and then maybe they give him Jones. But I saw Jones having a problem with what he wants for pay. So, I mean, Stipe's not going to wait around for Jones. Stipe's here to fight. He'll fight whoever they tell him.
Who do you think does win between Stipe and Bones?
I think it's a close fight. I think if Jones can return to his prime self where he was a few years back, I think he could get the win. But honestly, I haven't been super impressed with his performances lately either. I think Stipe gets the job done.
Yeah, man, I'm kind of thinking the same thing because even if you look most recently with Dominic Reyes, Thiago before that, I mean, Jones has had some really close fights. He wasn't having close fights historically. Now he is. So I'm a little surprised to see him vacate at 205 and go up to heavyweight. But it does make for some pretty intriguing matchups. So I'm excited to see what the UFC does moving forward. One thing I wanted to ask you that I'm not sure we ever talked about before, but, DC, long time, 205 champ, he did that for a while now, and he's not like your prototypical like heavyweight. When you look at Stipe or Ngannou, he's not 6'4" with a huge long reach. He's shorter, he's more compact and like stout. Do you feel like there was ever a chance, like, or if he would have maybe tweaked his diet or done something differently, that he could have gone down and maybe even competed at middleweight, or is he just too big to ever even think about doing that?
I think he's just one of those guys that, is kind of stuck at that middleweight. Like, I feel like not the weight class, but, a lot of guys will say, well, I'm not a welterweight, but I'm too big for 55, and they want that 165. I feel like DC's at the same point. He cuts a lot of weight for 205, and sometimes he kind of puts it on himself, but at the same time, if he had the cleanest diet possible and he cut weight, he'd probably, with his luck, get down to like 190. And I don't know scientifically and what his exact weight cut is to say like, oh, I know he'd make 190. But that's what I've gotten from everything, all the way he talks about his weight cuts. I just feel like he knows he could probably get lower than 205, but not to 85.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, he is a pretty thick guy. You know, I was at the Bellator event a couple weeks ago, and I saw Grant Neal, who trains out there in Colorado. He's a light heavyweight, and I thought there were some similarities between their builds. And I was looking at his legs, and I was like, man, oh man, I don't know if he 205, because that is one big dude, and he's just thick and like carries a lot of muscle. I didn't see, unless you lose a lot of muscle, I don't see how you could do that. And I think probably the same thing with DC. As far as AKA goes, you're going to try and get out there? I mean, obviously with this pandemic, it's making things a little bit more difficult, but are you hoping to get out there again soon?
Yeah, I'd love to. I mean, I've been keeping in touch with them out there, everything going on in California. It's a little bit different. You know, San Jose doesn't really have their own guidelines. They're kind of just copying their sister cities, their towns. So if this town's doing this thing, okay, we're going to do that. So it's been kind of tough. I'd love to go out there as soon as possible and just get as best work I can. But, you know, that's another thing where I think right now it's just the gym's got to open up. It's not really open. Guys that have fights need some place to train. I've seen a lot of the guys are kind of just making stuff at home. You know, DC made the garage. A lot of guys are working out in their backyards. But yeah, as soon as the gym's open, I'd love to go back out there.
Yeah, I'm sure you've worked with Rosendo before. How fun is it when he's holding pads for you, putting you through a boxing workout?
Oh, it's so fun until he slaps me in the face. And he enjoys every second of it. But no, it's great working with Ro. I mean, I've gone down to his gym down by his house, and I've worked with him there. You know, it was really cool just working with all those guys. And like I said before, it was just cool because I met them all through Tough, and then going out to California, you know, to their backyard, and then they treat you exactly the same. They want what's best for you. It was really cool.
Yeah, that's dope. I do have to ask you too, you know, Khabib and Gaethje right around the corner, man. Like, maybe we'll talk before then, maybe we won't. But I mean, I got to get your pick on that one. I'm assuming you're going Khabib, but just tell me what you think of the fight.
I'm definitely going Khabib. It's an interesting fight. I didn't think that I would think of it similar to the Tony Ferguson fight, where it's either going to be his easiest or his hardest, but it is. I think it's going to be Khabib's easiest or his hardest fight. There's going to be no back and forth. You know, Gaethje says some weird things that like remind me of Tony Ferguson's mindset, which you probably need to fight Khabib. I mean, he's not like fighting anybody else. So yeah, I'm really interested in it, but it's going to be interesting. I know Khabib's not coming out to California to do his camp. He's doing everything back home. And with everything that happened with his family, it's going to be interesting what version of Khabib we get. Yeah,
no doubt. And if he does beat Gaethje, he said he's made it very clear he wants his 30th fight to be against George St. Pierre for the lightweight. Do you think there's any way that happens? I mean, George is 40 now. Do you think he comes back and takes a risk by fighting someone as dangerous as Khabib?
No, I don't think so. I think GSP is a lot like DC. I mean, they're two of the best ever, but they also know when to call it quits. Not just quits like I don't want to fight anymore, but just like I don't want to live that lifestyle, because you can still train full time and eat clean and all that stuff. It's still different than being in fight camp. And when Kamaru Usman just called GSP out, he said that. He was like, do I want to go through hell for 2 months to fight a guy that's in his prime and not eat all this delicious food? No.
Yeah, that's a great point. Either way, as a fan myself, you know, I can dream and hope for those fights. But
oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, so let's talk about this fight. LFA, they've set up shop down in South Dakota, and they've been putting up a lot of shows, like one right after the other, nonstop, which is fantastic. What are the restrictions and the testing that they're going to put you forward leading up to LFA 89?
So I actually just got all my stuff emailed me the other day. So pretty much it's going to be very similar to the UFC. We have a restricted, they called it a campus. We have a restricted campus that we can't leave. We're going to be tested when we get there, before the fights, the weigh-ins, before every event that they run us through, and then when we leave. But it's going to be, yeah, it's the closest thing to the UFC without being the UFC right now.
How many times are you going to have the COVID test?
They didn't say exactly, but I'm sure a lot, and I'm not looking forward to it if it's the nose swab.
Well, it's funny because I was just talking about this the other day. Bellator, what they do is they have the Q-tips, and you know, they stick it up to like here, and they make you go around in a circular motion in each nostril for 10 seconds each, and then you just put the Q-tip right in the vial, close it up, and you're done. What I've seen from the UFC, it's that big long whatever it is where it goes way the back up the brain or down your throat. So I don't know if hopefully they're doing it more the Bellator way and not the UFC way. If you do have to go up the nose or down the throat, which route are you going?
Oh, up the nose all day. when I was a kid, I used to get strep throat a lot, so they would always test me with the thing, and I'd almost throw up every single time.
Yeah, yeah, I saw it happen to Rosendo, and I think he didn't like it that much either. Now, as far as taking the trip out there with you, who will be in your corner come fight night?
I'm gonna have Bill Mahoney and Justin Burrell. They're always in my corner. Justin, I mean, I asked Bill just how do you feel about COVID, everything. Like, if you're cool with it, I'd love to have you come corner me. And Justin is just like, hey, I got to fight. And he just says, okay, cool, where are we going?
And Joe, this is a really exciting matchup, man. Obviously, like I said earlier, main event, LFA. It's going to be on Fight Pass. You've been talking nonstop for a while now. Like, give me an opportunity. I want that high level opportunity to prove myself, to get back into the UFC. Well, it's here now, and this is a really interesting matchup with Brant Moore. He's got 5 submissions. He's 7-1. When you look at this kid, I mean, do you feel like the only way he's going to be able to beat you is to submit you? And you've never been submitted in your career.
Yeah, man. I honestly don't even know if he can submit me, and that's not like me trying to hype the fight or talk trash. It's just styles. I mean, I haven't been submitted. His one loss is by submission. And I mean, I saw that choke coming before it got locked in. And I know the guy that was in the corner of that fight, Violent Bob Ross. So, I've had plenty of talks with him about this guy. I think I know him a lot better than he knows me. I don't think anybody really knows me anymore. I've been talking to Bill about fights before LFA. And we're like, what about this guy? What about this guy? And they're asking me my opinion. I think all these fights before the quarantine that we were like, oh, this is a tough fight, this is a close fight, I think I've just closed the gap, if not blown past it. It's just going to be something different next week.
So, I mean, is this the most important fight of your career right now?
Maybe. I think it's the coolest. I mean, it's just one of those things. It's a new experience. I mean, first of all, I've never been to South Dakota. I've never fought for LFA, so it's just a bunch of new stuff. But really right now, it's funny because it's like, I don't feel any weight on my shoulders. Like, I don't feel that this could be your ticket to the UFC, because I feel like a bunch of people have said that. But I'm just excited. I'm just like, no, this is a fight. Like, I've been aching to fight. Like, I've gone crazy not fighting. And, like, I've been training like crazy, like, so hard without a fight. And it's like, now it's final. There was a purpose to all that. So I'm just excited about that.
Do you feel any extra pressure going into this one? Because, I mean, honestly, I mean, this is just me looking at it from the outside in, but with this fight being as big as it is, the main event for possibly the biggest regional promotion in the country, let's just call it what it is. If you were to lose this here, it could drop you down a few steps, and that road to get back to where you want to be is going to be that much harder. Do you feel any extra pressure going into it, or are you just going into it confident and you look, cool, calm, and collected?
I mean, like I said, I'm just excited. I mean, if I do lose, it's the same. Honestly, it's the same. I'm planning for the same road either way. If I win, I'm not expecting Sean Shelby to call me the next night or the next day. I'm just going to get back to training and be ready to fight 5-6 more times, whatever I got to do. I mean, I've made it pretty clear that my goal is the UFC, and I'm going to do whatever it takes to get there. If I lose, and like, cool, go win 6-7 fights. That's what I was ready to do anyways. So I'm just looking to go out there, and I want to not just show off my improvements, but to myself, know that all that hard work wasn't for nothing. I want to go out there and just do better than I have it than any fight in the past.
If you win and you don't take any real damage, you're not injured, and they call you up and they say, hey, we have a last-minute replacement fight at Contender Series here in a couple of weeks, are you going to jump on that and fly down to Vegas, or are you going to be a little bit more picky and choosy with what you do here moving